You know what annoys me is the fact that no matter what Tisha says, it seems as though it's never enough for Marcel. It seems like she can never say the right thing to him. When he was going back and forth with her on live about her role as a housewife and how she tried to compare that to managing and running a business, which I would agree on. It takes a lot to manage household, kids, expenses, and things like that. And for him to always have a rebuttal, for him to always try to say she's contradicting herself, what is that about? Can you not just be Team Tisha on site, at least on screen, on live, and maybe say what you need to say offline? But I don't like it when he makes it seem like she's constantly wrong or like he's right and what she has to say doesn't make sense. It's like, dang, are you in a relationship with her or not? Like, I always feel like your partner should be your biggest cheerleader. Or what's the point of even being in a relationship? Like, why do I need to feel bad or why am I being made to be belittled when I'm with you? Like, I feel like your partner, it should be fun. I mean, of course, you're going to have your ups and downs. And of course, your partner should be able to say what he needs to say, he or she needs to say to you without backlash or anything like that. But I feel like I'm learning, as they say online, give a little sugar with your salt. So if you're going to say something critical, at least say something sweet. So he may feel how he feel. He may feel like, all right, Tisha not doing enough. Tisha is X, Y, and Z. Like, what is she talking about? But at least say, you know what, babe, that do make a lot of sense. And I'm so happy to have you as my wife to hold down the fort. Because I feel like Tisha was saying everything that the man wants to hear. She said that her household is her priority. And, she wants to be a mom and a wife, and she accepts her role and her husband is a leader. Ain't that what your man want to hear? So even still, by her saying that, Marcel still will go back and come out his choppers and chop her down. And I feel like that is so wrong. So I learned that in cases like Marcel and Tisha, it's really about Marcel. I think he feels a level of contempt for her. And guess what? Somebody had to go and look up what contempt means. And I know y'all know what contempt means, but I had to look it up again because I noticed someone mentioned that in the comments. And contempt means the feeling that a person or a thing is beneath consideration, worthless, or deserving scorn. And that's how I feel about Marceau at times. Even people will say that. Like, sometimes Marceau talks to Tisha like she's a child, even though she's a whole degree holder, even though she was about to have her own life going. Like she mentioned to Texas before Marceau proposed, she was working in the IT department. Don't get it twisted, the girl got it going on. But Marceau went and proposed to her. Well, I'm not saying like it was a bad thing, but sometimes I do feel as though that women sometimes will see the marriage and things like that as the destination. And then realize like, no, you have to still keep living as well. You know what I mean? I feel like the marriage, the kids and things is only the beginning. And even if that's not in your current path, you being a woman, you existing for women and men is enough. Like, we all have a lot on our plate, regardless our status, whether we're single, married with kids, married without kids, single with no kids, single with kids. We're all on this life's journey. And I feel like no situation is better than the other. They're all just different, but you gotta work your plan, you gotta work it and be in your purpose regardless of whatsoever state you are in. So with Marcel feeling like he has contempt, or it seems as though he has contempt for Tisha, is basically a lot to do with him. When I was reading online, sometimes this is about projection. He may not feel good about himself, so he wants to criticize Tisha. He wants to tell Tisha, oh, what you do isn't enough, or you raising the kids and things like that is not the same as running a business. And it's just like, okay, why are you saying that? Her raising the kids and being a stay-at-home mom is the business of the family, okay? If the family isn't good, the kids ain't good, neither is nobody else. So I don't get why he never can like boast her up. And then sometimes when he does, it seems like very forced. Like, I feel like he does it out of obligation. I'm not really getting like that love, that admiration. Like, dang, baby, you hold me. Like, I'm not getting that. Not to say it's not there, doesn't exist, but I don't really feel it. But you know what? I'm not the person that needs to feel it. I'm just going by what I see, y'all. So one of the things I learned, that when people have the need to be right, sometimes you could just tell them, You are right. That is a need in all of us to want to be right. And even though a person may not be correct in your eyes, if they believe something, they are correct. They are right. So we have to acknowledge their belief because they believe it as so. So I feel like sometimes Tisha could just be like, you know what, Marcel, you are right. But at the same time, Marcel needs to actually go and appreciate the things that Tisha does for him as a wife and as the mother of his children. Stop trying to play her. Stop trying to act like she don't do anything. But I also read on this article on nestlabs.com that the need to be right can be a symptom of anxiety of abandonment. Many of us unconsciously worry that people close to them will leave. People who suffer from anxiety of abandonment are often overly sensitive to criticism, tend to take measures to avoid rejection, and work hard to please other people. So that sounds like Marcel. I mean, we don't really know his background, but maybe he does have like anxiety of abandonment. But I definitely do feel as though he is a fault finding spouse. And I learned that when your husband is critical of you, one reason why is that he likes to think he's in charge. So this article that I found is titled "My Husband Finds Fault in with Everything I Do" says if your husband is a type of guy who likes to be in control, he may find fault with everything you do as a way to exert his dominance. Doesn't that sound like Marcel? He may genuinely believe that he knows what's best for you in the family, so he's constantly trying to take charge. This is a form of manipulation, which can be very subtle or overt. Some men use subtle manipulation by criticizing your every move. Other men are more direct and tell their wives what to do and when to do it. Finding fault with everything you do because he wants to be in charge will only put you down, make you feel less than adequate as an individual or parent. The goal is to make you feel so bad about yourself that you will conform and do things his way. If this behavior continues over time, it can become, I'll use the word toxic, because he will go to any length to ensure you conform to his wishes. Unfortunately, some women accept this type of toxicity because they don't know how else to deal with their husband's controlling behavior, or they don't want to lose their families if they leave them. And I do feel like therein lies a crux of what's going on with Tisha and Marsau. Now, clearly, of course, it's her choice, it's her life to deal with Marsau how she chooses to deal with Marsau. But another person brought up an interesting perspective, and they said how Tisha doesn't value herself. And I'm like, you know what? That really could be the case. So for me, I had to think and help her out and find ways and find information on how women in Tisha's situation and relationships can value themselves in a relationship. And one of the things I came up with is that she has to speak up for herself and not be afraid of the backlash. Like, at times, yes, go ahead and agree with your partner, but other times I feel like you do have to speak up for yourself. Let the person know in a stern way, like, hey, no, I don't agree with that. And don't be afraid of whatever may come. Sometimes I feel like Tisha could be kind of quiet and reserved and things like that as a way not to upset Marcel because she don't want maybe him to get mad and leave her. But I feel as though that isn't worth it. She should be able to say what she needs to say without fear of consequences or retributions, or him being upset with her, or her feeling like it may drive a wedge between the two of them. I feel like that is not fair to her. I feel like she should be able to be free to say what she needs to say, like he is free to say what he always says. He don't be it to me. He says and does what he wants to do, and he's not afraid to lose her. So that's how come he's in like the higher position. He knows she's not leaving. He knows that like she will want to make it work regardless of how she feels. And that's also, I learned, a sign of gaslighting. You start questioning your sanity. You start questioning, like, maybe I'm being overly sensitive. Maybe I'm being dramatic. Even though this person's actions is making you feel away, but you start questioning, like, oh, maybe it's just me. Well, you ain't never questioned your sanity before. So that's one thing. So I feel like Tisha definitely does have to learn how to value herself by speaking up, putting people in their place respectfully without the fear of the consequences. She has to see herself as coming out on top of regardless of people's upset, disappointment, whatever negative feelings she's trying to avoid by confronting others or speaking up for herself. I feel like she should be okay with, especially when it comes down to her husband. Maybe when she get Marsau straight, she'll be able to get her mom straight and be okay with speaking up for herself and standing 10 toes down. And if somebody don't like the boundaries you put up in place, then they don't need to be in your life, because they probably were only in your life to take advantage of you, to steamroll you, so you can do what you want, so you can do what they want you to do. And you're not even your person anymore. But I feel like take a page out of Marsau's book, because he always puts himself first, and I feel like that's the same energy Tisha needs to have. See, they don't like it when you do a you to them. When you do a them to them, back to them. But you know what? Sometimes it's a new day, a new dawn, a new story for me. And sometimes you may have to do that. Sometimes you have to fight fire with fire. Other times you don't have to, but sometimes you just may have to. And Marsau may like it a little bit. You know what I mean? I feel as though he may talk that macho stuff, but he probably like, for a woman to put him in his place a little bit there. Yeah. Uh-huh. But another thing I learned or I read online is that in order to have a life, or in order to value yourself in a relationship, to have high self-esteem still, because sometimes, you may lose yourself in a relationship. Sometimes the relationship becomes your identity. You don't know who you are outside of this relationship. So another way to help with that is to have hobbies, to do things outside the house, to do things outside of, helping the kids get ready for school. Have your own thing. Have a thing where you can shine bright, shine far, don't be shy, be a star. And that way, you're just more of a whole person, because I feel like women, we're good at that. We can, you know, feed the baby and be doing work. We can definitely multitask. We are masters at that. So I feel as though that, yes, wife, kids, family can be Tisha's priority, but I feel like she can have other things in her life that make her feel good as a woman, that she can excel at, that she can do, that can be like a release for her, that maybe can tap into her creative side, whether that's like the Zumba class, poetry, going back to school, doing a creative writing class. It's the list is endless. The list is endless for her. The opportunities are endless for her. So I just want that for her, so Marsau can stop playing. Because that's the thing. I feel like he can like jerk her because he knows it's something that she really, really wants. Like it's a different energy that you come when you like really want something really, really bad, and you're willing to go through whatever to get it, versus like, I could take it or leave it. I like it, but if this get too out of control, like I can leave. Nothing, nobody can be my Jesus other than him. No one can be my savior other than Jesus. So nothing is more better than that. No one died on the cross but Jesus Christ for me, so I don't have to go above and beyond to make things work or be here or do anything for anybody. Not say Tisha needs to leave her relationship, but it's just like a mental mindset to have. Like it's just, look, damn, I'm not about to like, this needs to be reciprocal. Even the Bible say, like, show honor to your wife, being a weaker vessel. So yeah. But other than that, what do you guys think? I was on my site, y'all know I was on my site, urbanbellmag.com, and came across this article that said fans calls out Marsau for comments he made about Letitia on social media. And as I was reading, I was like, you know what? What is Marsau's problem? Tisha cannot win for losing. Like, and I just can't. But let me know what y'all think. Do you really feel as though like Marsau just may have like some contempt towards him, contempt towards Tisha, and now he's feeling away, and for some reason he just can't appreciate her? I just feel like it shouldn't be that hard, because I feel like Tisha is doing everything in her power to please him. So what is his problem? But if you don't appreciate that niceness, then you reverse it and start being mean. Not being mean, but start putting yourself first as well. That would just be my suggestion. But anyway, what are some other ways that women can build their self-esteem, their value in a relationship? And take Tisha out the equation and put your friend in it. Like, your friend that that, like, why is she putting up with that guy? See, it's because she needs to do X, Y, and Z. So give those type of comments, like, think about ways, so that way if someone else comes across this video that may be in a similar situation as Tisha, they know what to do to get their self-esteem back up. But either way it goes, that's the way I see it. I was gonna say that's the way the love goes, but that is not the way the love goes in my opinion. But let me know what y'all think. Thanks again for tuning in, for watching this video, for subscribing to my channel, and also liking and sharing and commenting. Like I said, I definitely want to hear what you guys have to say on this topic in particular. Other than that, I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.